Do you like it when your teacher speaks both English and your language, or only English in class? Is it necessary to translate from your native language into English when speaking or writing in English? Do you believe that after some time you may stop translating and may start thinking in the new language when you use it? Do you sometimes think directly in English? Is it possible to think directly in your target language? If you're learning English, English is your target language. Does translating have any advantages? Again, the big question I'd like us to discuss, is it possible to think directly in your target language? Is it possible? In this video, I'd like to explore these questions and more. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hi, if we haven't met before, I'm Magdalena, a qualified English teacher. English has been one of my passions for many years, and I'm very happy when I can share this passion and love for English with my students, when I can teach them useful, practical things. In one of my previous videos, I shared my personal language learning journey with you. So if you're interested, feel free to check it out on my YouTube channel. As a language learner myself, I understand the struggles, challenges, and fears you may face. So I hope I can encourage and inspire you, motivate you, and teach you something new. If you watched my previous videos, you know I've already talked about how you should take charge of your English instead of being spoon-fed. I've shared my English learning journey with you, as I mentioned, and would love to hear about yours. We discussed what your English learning goals should be. I talked about fear in general and the fears language learners often face when trying to speak a new language. And I also talked about fluency, whether it really exists and what it should mean to you. I really encourage you to check out those episodes and start enjoying your language learning journey even more, because it should be enjoyable. We only get one life, right? By the way, if you find this video helpful and inspiring, please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment with your thoughts or questions, and give it a thumbs up. Your feedback, positive or negative, is greatly appreciated. It encourages me to continue making these videos. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's talk about translating. Is it good or bad? I'll share some facts with you, and then you can decide. Now, if you translate most of the time, it doesn't work so well after a while. Let me repeat. If you translate most of the time, it doesn't work so well after a while. Why? Because translating slows down your thinking, your understanding, and can make you lose the flow of the conversation. When speaking, translating in your head can make you respond more slowly. Besides, there are many words and expressions that don't have direct translations. Food is a common example, because different cultures often don't share exactly the same dishes. But there are many other examples too. So, does translation only have disadvantages? Is it always bad? No. Do you have to learn a foreign language through your mother tongue? It depends. And here I don't mean children, because they learn differently from us adults. Babies and children are not taught language. They don't study it. They just absorb it naturally. Absorb means to take something in. Translation can give beginners a faster understanding of abstract ideas, which are often harder to explain with pictures or dictionary definitions. I'm not saying it's impossible to explain these in the target language, but translation can save time and energy. For example, it's easier for a teacher to say a difficult or abstract word in the student's native language than to spend a long time trying to explain it in English when the student is just starting. Again, let me repeat. It's not impossible to teach only in English. I mean, it is possible. I have done this and I still do it. I prefer to teach English in English, using as little of my native language as possible. And it works as long as the learner is open-minded and ready to think outside the box. Now, share your experience with me. How does your teacher teach you? What do you prefer, learning English in English or learning with a lot of your native language? I'd love to hear from you. Since languages share many things in common, translation can also help you make quick connections between the vocabulary, grammar, and sentence structure of both languages. Let me give you a fun example. In English, there is a saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Of course, first of all, you need context to understand the meaning of this saying. This proverb means you can offer someone an opportunity or help them in every way, but you cannot force them to take advantage of it if they are unwilling. It's pretty self-explaining, right? You can give someone or possibly something the opportunity to do something, but eventually the choice to actually do it belongs to him or her only. Even if you're his or her boss, parent, teacher, any figure of authority, but you automatically think of the equivalent of this saying in your language. It might be, you can take the donkey to the fountain, but you can't force it to drink. Or, if the cow does not drink, you can't push its head to force it to do so. At least it's fun to see the parallel between the saying in English and the saying in your language. So my point is, if you understand this proverb through the context in which it is used, do you have to know the translation of it? No. It can be fun to see the parallel, but you don't have to. The main thing is that you can understand it when hearing or reading it and use it when speaking. Again, if you're a beginner, translation might help you. But remember that it is possible to learn English without translating too much, even if you're a beginner. But if you're not a beginner, make it your goal to stop translating and start thinking in English. But how, right? That's the big question, and I will try to give you some ideas. But before I do it, if you would like to learn more fun idioms, sayings that you can actually use as part of your advice giving, sayings that native speakers use on a daily basis, actually more than 60 of them, let me know. You can find the necessary information in the description of the video below. Okay, how can you start thinking in English? Do you want to know the big secret? Well, the biggest secret is this. Are you ready? There's no magic pill, no quick way. It takes time, energy, willingness, perseverance when you don't give up, motivation, consistency, and being open to think outside the box. Are you disappointed? Is this not what you wanted to hear? Wait, don't turn it off. Keep watching. I'm about to share some practical steps you can take. First of all, you need a lot of input. What do I mean by input? Input is what you put inside your mind, what you receive, what you watch in English, what you read, what you listen to. And since I don't want my video to be super long, we'll only focus on input today. And in the next video, we will talk about output, how you can produce the language. But now let's focus on input, receiving the language. It's necessary because language learning happens both consciously and subconsciously. What does this mean? Let me say it in very simple English. It's important because you learn a language both by thinking about it, that's consciously, and without thinking about it, that's subconsciously. For example, choosing to read a book, deciding on a healthy meal, planning a trip. These are things we do consciously. Breathing, walking, these things we do subconsciously, without thinking about them. So again, language learning happens both consciously and subconsciously. You can learn a lot of language from just taking lessons from a teacher or from having conversations, but the more English you hear and read, and this is input, right? The easier and more natural it will feel to think in English. So my number one tip is surround yourself with English. Immerse yourself in English. Surround yourself with the language as much as possible. And it is so easy to do this in the 21st century. First, expose yourself to as many different sources of input as you can. My number 2 tip is this: enjoy what you're doing. If you like podcasts, choose topics that you really like, you're interested in. If you're crazy about gardening, don't choose podcasts on fishing. If you're a parent, there are amazing podcasts for you on parenting. You know what I mean. If you can't enjoy it, it's not going to be that effective. If you live in an English-speaking country, it's easier for you to surround yourself with English. Of course, we all know that. But you also have to make conscious decisions. Even if you live in an English-speaking country, you have to decide that you will make English-speaking friends and you will not spend all your time only with people from your own country who speak your language. Now, I'm mainly talking to those of you who don't live in an English-speaking country. For you, surrounding yourself with English can be more challenging, but it's not impossible. Just start with small steps. Let me give you some tips. Okay, so how to think in English. Are you ready? As I mentioned, massive input. You can receive the language through books, audiobooks, movies, music, television, podcasts, online videos, social media posts, live streams, blog posts, etc. As you see, I mentioned books. So let me point out this. Read, read, read. But please read for fun, for enjoyment. Choose texts that are slightly above your level. If you understand 60, 80%, that's perfectly fine. Did you hear me? If you understand 60, 80%, that's perfectly fine. You can also read graded readers, but this is so important. Read for pleasure. Enjoy reading. Okay? This is so important. Enjoy reading. If you have children, read together. In children's books, you have simple language, clear stories, but they can be still fun, even for adults. So again, enjoy reading. The next one, listening. A study found that we spend about 80% of our day communicating in some way. 80% of our day communicating in some way. Out of that time, we spend around 9% writing, 16% reading, 30% speaking, and 45% listening. Listen to authentic material. What does it mean? Authentic material means it's designed for native speakers. Listen to natural conversations like TED Talks, podcasts, on topics that interest you. Do you like gardening? Then listen to content about gardening. Are you passionate about traveling? Listen to podcasts or watch interviews with people who love traveling. The content must be enjoyable. Start listening to some cool, authentic material on something you really enjoy. And do it consistently every day, whether you're cooking at home, having lunch, or driving to work. Watch movies. At the beginning, it's okay to watch movies with English subtitles. If you have children, you can watch children's movies or cartoons like Peppa Pig, for example, together in English, or something you all like. If you're too busy, your children can be watching Peppa, and you can also be watching it while ironing. This is killing two birds with one stone. My advice for you, do not try to translate for your kids. Children are amazing when it comes to learning a new language. If you like songs, try to guess the lyrics, the words of the song, right? While listening before checking them. Then compare your guesses with the actual words, and then sing along with your favorite song. Change your phone, computer settings, GPS, or favorite app to English. You'll start seeing everyday words all the time. Every time you check the weather, read notifications, use the GPS, or update apps, you're seeing English words in real life context. Again, you can check the weather forecast in English every day. Make it a habit. Next, I hope you want to know what's going on in the world. The news is not always uplifting in today's world, but still, read the news. First read or listen to it in your language and then find the same news in English. Remember, news is plural. You don't say news are, but news is. Okay? So again, once a day, every day. It only takes a few minutes. But if full news articles feel long, just read the headlines in English every day. Another tip. Most of you are on social media, right? Remember to change your social media to English. I often find inspiring stories about famous people or important events from the past on social media. Usually, you first see them in your own language. Read them, and if you find them interesting, look for the same story in English. Just Google the name of the person or the event, and you'll see it in English too, maybe even on Facebook, where you first saw it. Then read the story, think about it, and read the comments. They will be in English as well. You can learn a lot from those comments. Most importantly, it's not textbook English, but real, everyday spoken English. Subscribe to newsletters or mailing lists in English, like travel deals, cooking recipes, tech updates. When you go shopping, if you're like me, you want to know what you're buying, so you read the ingredients on the label, what is inside the food, right? Of course, you can read it in your language, first to make sure everything is clear, but then take a few seconds to read the ingredients in English. When eating at an international restaurant, read the English version of the menu. If you like to cook, search for recipes in English, YouTube or blogs. Cooking equals step-by-step instructions, and it equals lots of useful verbs. If you like labels, use them around your house. Put sticky notes in English on furniture, appliances, or items. I will dedicate a whole video in the future on how you can learn and practice words, because this is so important. But you can put sticky notes around your house. When looking for accommodation, go on booking.com or other websites you like. Instead of using your own language, do it in English. Read about the accommodation, read the reviews. You can also do research on your next travel or holiday destination in English. Honestly, there is so much valuable information out there in English. One more tip. I'm sure many of you are already using ChatGPT as your assistant, or you're using smart speakers like Alexa, Google Home. You ask them questions and ask for help. For example, you can ask them for the time, a song, or the weather. But why not do this in English? Whatever you need to ask, do it in English. So can you see? The secret is actually simple. Input doesn't have to be study time. It's about surrounding yourself with English in small, daily, ordinary ways. Over time, it adds up and makes thinking in English natural. I hope you will put some of these tips into action. You can't use all of them right away. Don't even try. But choose one or two and start today. Do it little by little, step by step. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. If you have any other tips I haven't mentioned, please share them in the comments below so others can benefit. Remember, today we talked about input. You can also tell us whether you liked any of the tips you heard today and would like to start using. We want to cheer you on. The key is, don't just study English, but live in it. Connect it to your daily life. And trust me, the need for translation will disappear and thinking in English will become natural. And remember, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I've just led you to the water. I've just shared some tips with you, right? But I can't make you drink. Your teacher can't make you drink. Only you can do it. A life coach can give you advice, but you have to take an action. You have to pay the price. Are you willing? It's worth it. Well, that's it for today. I hope you won't miss my next video, where I will share lots of cool practical ideas about output, how you can produce the language. it's going to be super practical. But for now, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. Thanks for your time. See you in the next video. God bless you. Bye for now.